There we go. All right, here we are. Kind of forgot to check my email this morning. Nothing wrong with that, though. Just checked it. Nothing big. So good morning. Here we go. Focusing over here. Live Fest joined early. I have no idea what that means. Cat Mama, nice to see you. Laura Larson, nice to see you as well. All sorts of people showing up. I need a bigger Kleenex than that one will provide. Oh, do I have stories to share from the decluttering world? I'm sure you do too. You'll have things you'll want to talk about. I will too. Right? Ron, Cheryl, good morning. Good morning. So let me see if I can do this from memory. Not looking at anything. I'm thinking it's the morning. It is, and I am glancing up at the clock on my phone. It is 10:01 Eastern time. It is a Friday, and if I'm not mistaken, it is Friday, November 14th, 2025. Okay. Lovely. Good morning, Laura Gibbon Voorhees. Came in from the garden, and oh, Mr. Rogers, yeah, an inspo of mine, down to the cardigan and the comfy shoes, and the fact that he's from Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, one of my favorite places in PA, even though I'm on the Philly side. But good morning. We have a whole entire hour together here on TikTok this morning, if you want to hang out, for however long you want to hang out. And right after this, we have a YouTube live. If anything, I feel like I should be setting that up right now so we can have it to look forward to. It will be the 894th video that is posted on the TikTok, on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. And I share with you, yay, happy Friday. Yay for the sun out. It is brisk, do not get me wrong, but when you are prepared, it is easier. If you're not prepared for the brisk weather, it'll be a little bit more difficult. I am here to help you, kind of like a nice warm coat on a cold day. I'm here to prepare you, to help you prepare for decluttering. Making it easier, making it more fun, because I'm all about the more fun. Good morning, Lake Life Lady and user 1963. Good morning, everybody. Couple of things that literally happened to me this morning that relate to decluttering that I thought I would share with you, because this is kind of an indication of when we may have this idea of decluttering only matters about how things look. But I will share with you that decluttering helps you not be stressed out. Does anybody not want to be stressed out? Right here, over here, me. I got some anxiety and some stress generated this morning simply because I started to feel anxious and stressed out, a little bit of, I don't like this feeling, because I couldn't find something. Okay? So I will explain to you what happened. And the end result is, and I texted a friend to say, the lesson is to clean up after yourself or to declutter more frequently. So I am occasionally in the habit of removing the rings on this hand. The reason I do that is sometimes I get like a little, lotion or something gets caught underneath it. For whatever reason, I do that. And when I do that, I have a place where I usually put those rings. So if I don't have them on, my anxiety is not activated because I know where to look. So I looked where the things should be when they're not on my hand. They should be literally on the neck of this little dinosaur that I got, 20 some plus years ago at the Natural History Museum in Chicago. And so when I didn't notice them there, I was like, okay, no big deal. Don't need to get stressed out. There are a few other places, secondary places. Long story short is, I was a little bit late to meet up with my friends this morning because I looked in all the places where if I was being mindful and took these off and said, I'm putting these here, I would have been there. And so instead, though, I wasn't paying attention to myself, A, when I removed them, and B, when I ended up putting some things on top of them. Now, I will offer to you, I knew, I could sense, because I coach myself and I'm very aware. I said, okay, now I get it. I am starting to feel a little anxious. Oh my gosh, what if they're lost? Oh my gosh, what if they're in the trash? I don't want to go digging around in the trash. If they're not where I think they should be, that means they could be anywhere. Did they end up falling off my hands when I was putting the new pillows in the pillowcases? Did I vacuum them up? Could I vacuum them up? Long story short is, I did end up finding them. Yay. And what a relief it was. And I realized as I was looking for them, it was so important for me to regulate my nervous system, as they would say in the life coaching biz. And in case anybody is wondering who the heck is telling you the story of the lost rings, I feel like Nancy Drew. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I knew that if I triggered my fear response, oh my gosh, what if this, that I would get blind to my focus would be limited. And I would be thinking, instead of looking objectively and calmly about, okay, if they're not where they are, this is where they should be. And I realized how quickly, when it wasn't easy for me to find something where I thought it should be where it was triggering some anxiety. I had to calm myself down about this. I literally went to, what's the absolute worst that could happen? And I would say, well, that they're lost forever, and I would have to buy some new rings. I knew it wasn't going to get to that, but it was helpful to go to that. You know where I ended up finding them? Under some things that I piled here to show you when I had been decluttering. And man, when I was able to find the thing that I was afraid I had lost, it was like a wash of relief coming over me. Yay. Yay for that. So notice that when you can't find something, when you want to find something easily, like right now, I don't even have a cup of water next to me. Maybe we'll go out into the kitchen, because I was so relieved that I found that. I did not kind of prepare myself. So decluttering and tidying up after decluttering, being mindful of where you're putting things as you declutter, can save you stress in the future. Okay? So I hope that helps you. Just to notice, have you decluttered? Do you have piles of things that you have kind of started the declutter process, but you really didn't finish it? And if so, maybe right now when we're on this TikTok live, you can start to declutter some of those piles. Now, this is what we're going to do. If you guys are cool with it. Yeah, and Laura Given Voorhees says, oh Lord, I hate it when I can't find something and it makes me feel, It is stressful. You're right, Lizzie. And I will share with you, it's like I literally said to a friend of mine, because I was late meeting them, I explained why. And I had to coach myself. These are the tools that I teach you to calm down my nervous system. And I told myself better stories. Instead of, oh my gosh, where is it? I can't find it. What if I lost it? What if it's in the trash? Notice even my voice is kind of illustrating the stress. And then I said, wait a minute. And I literally said to my friend, but really I was saying it out loud to myself, it's not like they slipped into the fourth dimension. Okay? And notice when I said things to myself, this is another one. I don't know if anybody's Italian here or knows this phrase, or maybe it's a Catholic thing. I don't know. I'm not Italian, but I grew up Catholic. Saint Anthony, look around. There's something lost that must be found. Kind of a mantra you'd say to yourself to calm yourself down, to get yourself out of panic, and remind yourself that you're not alone, that somebody's going to help you find things. And that can help calm down. That prayer works. Maybe it does, Lizzie, because I literally said it because I was going to share with you guys the idea of it calming you down. But notice a prayer is a thing you can say to yourself to calm down your nervous system. It is a string of words that makes you feel better. And when you feel better, you get out of panic and fear mode, which totally clouds your vision. And you can see clearly now, the rain is gone. You can see a little bit more clearly. Now, here's the reason why I look back and I say, how did it get to be that way? Okay. So, yes, Love Gardening says I asked St. Anthony to look around. The reason why I couldn't find what I was looking for is the following. And I know this, and this is why I often kind of review the tape and see how did I get here, is I didn't put my things back where they belong. If they're not on my finger, they should be in one of maybe two specific places, a home for them. So I didn't put a thing back where it belonged because I wasn't really paying attention, because I was focusing on something else. And what I did, not only did I put them over here for whatever reason, like I don't remember doing it because I was focusing on something else, but then I piled stuff on top of it. I piled a piece of paper to call to get off of a mailing list, and I piled 3 empty people, empty photo albums. Actually, technically 4, because oh my gosh, this one from the 90s when we used to have panoramics. And I piled them there because they are on their way out of this room, and I wanted to share with you the progress I was making. So notice where if you don't put something back, it can cause stress. And if you're not mindful, like even I can't remember piling this stuff on top of it because I was focusing elsewhere. Okay? So just learn from what I did and remind yourself that even in those moments of stress, to kind of calm yourself down, say the St. Anthony prayer, talk yourself down off of the cliff, and don't get anxious about it. It's around here somewhere, and continue to be calm and breathe and look. And voila. Yay, they weren't in the pillowcases I thought they might be. Yay, they weren't in that trash can with the nasty tea bags and stuff like that. Okay? So notice that your nervous system can be easily activated by your clutter, but you can do something about it. All right? Now, I love it. So notice I am inspiring other people. Now, Laura Gibbon Voorhees, you're kind of ping-ponging around, as you said. I am moving my massive hosta garden in prep for a porch to be built. Decluttering it is weeding. Yes. Yeah. I'm in the midst of prepping to paint my son's former room. I plan to keep on top of the surface clutter because you notice you have the habit. I tend to my garden, but I am in the habit of letting things get out of hand while I'm doing a project. I will admit to you, again, I'm a decluttering life coach, but I'm showing up in real time, going through my own decluttering process, and I have some messy piles to my left here of photographs that came out of these photo albums because I was more excited to see the photo albums empty, and I now need to go back and re-neaten these piles up. So notice, how long do you let things get out of hand before you get them in hand again? I highly recommend, as Laura just said, currently doing a ping pong surface declutter. Surface decluttering can be a wonderful way of resetting where you're starting. That's where I started, which was going through the stuff that was temporarily on a surface, not where it was supposed to be. And Laura is saying, yes, almost all things I just didn't put away. So I offer to you, while I do this TikTok live for the next 45 minutes or so, feel free. Please don't pay attention to the screen right here on your phone. Put your phone down. If you want to hang out, just turn the volume up, pump up the volume. But putter and declutter. Put some things away where they belong so that in 45 minutes or less, you will feel better because you will see clearer surfaces. They may not be clean. And you will have a better feeling of things, knowing, being sure, feeling safe, knowing where something is. Okay? So notice that. You can do something about it. Learn from me. Alrighty? Now, Labs Rock says, I have a pantry I can't even walk in. I took a bunch of stuff to a food pantry yesterday. I hope that feels good, both for the people at the pantry and you maybe now can step into your food pantry one step. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Yeah. And Cat Mama, notice this, talking about losing things. I lost my cell phone. We no longer have a landline to call it. It was on a treadmill panel, but I looked everywhere. Now notice you say, I looked everywhere and it's not here. When our nervous system is in fear, we do not see clearly. If you are afraid, you may be going, oh my gosh, you're looking quickly and you're not seeing things that are literally right in front of you. So notice, because technically you didn't look everywhere. You didn't look more closely at that surface, because sometimes things can blend in. Yeah. Alrighty. So here we go. Laura Given Voorhees is ping-ponging surface declutter. I highly recommend you do that. What I call like it is allowing yourself, sometimes you need to be focused when you're decluttering. Focus can help, and sometimes focus is something that we struggle with when we're decluttering. And other times it can feel really beneficial to, as Laura likes to say, kind of ping pong around, to go from one place to another and put some things away that aren't where they belong. So use this time as we're here. Again, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and I will be here on this TikTok Live for another like 40 minutes or so. Okay, so I'm hanging out with you while you do this. So if you get stuck with something, you can pop your question in the comments and I can walk you through it. All right, that's why I show up here on TikTok, on YouTube. I've got a website, mailing list, all that kind of stuff, destinationdecluttered.com. But anyhow, let's get into it. Melissa, nice to see you. I have a list of things I want to get done. I love that because I love a list. But have plans to go see my father 2 hours away, who is moving and has a declutter problem. Fighting my thoughts to stay or should I go? Okay, good morning, Jesse and Kara. So, Melissa, this is something that I think might be beneficial not only to you, but to other people. Okay, and is this. And it's not just for the ADHD people in the house, of which I know many, but notice that you're saying this or that. Why don't we call this conjunction junction, okay? So I offer to you, Melissa, the notion of instead of this or that, things I want to get done, like for me, or I have plans to go see my father. Why not do a little bit of both? This, breaking the habit of all or nothing thinking, can be so much better. And this is basically a decluttering thing, but also a life coaching thing. I can do this or that. Why not this and that? If your father is 2 hours away, could you say to him, Dad, I'm going to be an hour later than planned. And then you don't even have to tell him, because I'm going to stay and work on my own stuff for an hour. You can do the both. That my nervous system will offer can help minimize the resentment you feel when you are saying no to yourself and yes to somebody else. So, Melissa, you may have a list of things you want to get done. You may not be able to get all of them done. Again, all or nothing. Could you reset the expectation of showing up an hour later than you said, and then spending that hour on one, notice the chunking down, one of the things on your list for you, so that when you go to your dad's house, you are feeling better about what you did for yourself. Okay? Just something to think about. Now, I just saw something. Kara's Garden, nice to see you. Testimony. Second opinion, surgeon with 43 years experience. Hernia fixed with local anesthesia. Robotic is overkill. Phew, yeah. Yay. He says no rush. So I canceled that robotic surgery and will keep on listing and decluttering. Notice that few feeling, okay? that phew feeling. I literally looked up the little emoji when I was relieved of the stress when I found my earrings and I shared that story with somebody. Whew. I don't have to be stressed out about something I was kind of stressed out about. Yay, Kara. I was thinking of you, Kara, actually. Can I easily find it here? There was a photo I was going to share with you about Ye Olde something shop in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Since you live in Mass, I thought you might have seen it. I will share it at a future date. If I can't easily find it right here, it's okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Labs Rock, I see your question, but what we're going to do, I'm going to take you guys on a really quick field trip because I realized I'm going to be at my desk for like 2 hours almost, and I don't have anything to drink, and I need to stay hydrated, especially because I pretty much talk for 2 hours. And so notice what I'm doing, you guys, is I am changing up what's going on, and I'm paying attention to how my physical body feels, okay? So I offer to you right now, as I pick up the phone, I will try to minimize the bumping around, but I don't have like a steady cam. So I'm letting you know if it makes you kind of motion sickness to watch a camera move around. This is like the, what do they call that? Like the jump scare. We will be moving. We will be on a bumpy road for a little bit. You may want to avert your eyes. And this is also when this TikTok live is recorded and uploaded to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Know that the camera is going to be bopping around for a few minutes, okay? So as we do that, notice what we're doing. I'll try to move, and I'm going to walk you through the house, and we'll go through the living room because it's nice and sunny out. Notice, so you're getting a little glimpse here of my much more decluttered home. I don't have tea, but I've got my water. I already had some tea this morning. I'm going to fill up my tea thing, my water a little bit more. So maybe while I'm doing this, you can also fill up a cup of water or a glass of water or whatever you like to drink out of. As you know, I'm partial to my Portugal. And let's walk back this way, all right? More public. So notice what I'm doing. I'm paying attention to my physical body and realizing that I will feel better if I'm dehydrated. Okay? And I love it. Laura Gibbon Voorhees is saying, this retired vocal teacher approves of taking care of your voice and your body. Because, yeah, you guys, not to sound like an old person, but without your health, everything is so much more difficult. Okay? Now, pardon me as I sit back down again. Okay? So, and yes, notice, User 1963 says, I always loved your festive vignettes and walls. Yeah, so do I. It brings me joy every time I walk through my house. That was a lovely field trip, wasn't it? Yeah. So now we're back here. And, oh, there we go. Okay, good. So Lab Rock says, how do I get rid of boxes upon boxes of bathroom stuff? Hair care, makeup, shower soaps. Okay, Labs Rocks. Here's the thing I want to help you with, and this is going to help everybody. So thank you for sharing this in the comments. Excuse me. Let me use some of this water. Couple of things, and this is the great thing. As I said to somebody earlier today at breakfast, I said, I listen to people for a living. And the way I listen, especially on a live, where we're not verbally communicating back and forth, is I can only help you to the extent with which you use the words you share with me help me to help you. So Labs Rocks, this is where I like to pretend like I was an English teacher, and I would get really curious. Notice the words you use have clues in them to help you do what you want to do, okay? So notice the Bitmoji or the emoji that you're using of the to me that's kind of overwhelmed, like But you know what I know can pretty much is causing your overwhelm is this part right here. I'm going to circle it. Can you circle it right there? Boxes upon boxes. Boxes upon boxes. That phrase right there lets me know that you are overwhelmed with the amount of things. So it's an amount, you're overwhelming yourself with the amount of something, the amount is too big because it's boxes upon boxes. The opposite is going to then make you less overwhelmed. And the opposite in general is going to be the concept of chunking it down. Now, the cool thing is, within moments, you have already chunked it down. And I want to explain to you how you've done this already. So Labs Rocks, you already know how to do this. Boxes upon boxes of stuff. No, more specifically, bathroom stuff. So suddenly the boxes upon boxes are chunked down to just a chunk of your house known as the bathroom. And within that bathroom, the boxes have at least 3 categories. Hair care is a chunk. Makeup is a chunk. Shower soaps is a chunk. Let's deal with one of those chunks at a time to just illustrate the process, okay? Because here's the deal. You guys, I like a good process that you don't have to reinvent the wheel with everything. This process will work on every single one of these chunks. But Labs Rocks, as I skim through here, I will say this, is which one of those, because you're choosing to chunk down. You already chunked down to the bathroom. You can de-overwhelm yourself, or as I like to say, calm down your nervous system by chunking down. So Labs Rock 07, out of these 3 categories, which one do you want to start with? Hair care, makeup, or shower soaps? Put it in the comments and then we can go to the next step. Now as you start to think about that, please notice, everybody, what I've done already. I like to kind of step outside of myself and observe the process so I can share it with you. I have done already the first 3 steps of what I think is a really good routine to get into, beginning with everything. Okay? And what I want to offer to you is to show you what I did. Number one is I took care of my physical body. I said, hey, what's going to make me feel better to go the distance? She's going the distance. And it was going to be get a glass of water. Yeah, okay. So Labs Rocks, we're going to do a second step right now because I just saw your thing. Okay? The second one, and before we start, I want to share with you that I can sense just from the words you've chosen to share with me that your nervous system is still in an active state of overwhelm. So let's calm that mofo down, okay? Okay, so notice I drank down some water. What I offer to you, Labs Rocks, and everybody here, I am so boring because I repeat the same things over and over again, but this is to help you learn it or remember it. The word that is going to be your trigger word to remind you that you can do something when you are overwhelmed, the word is going to be down, okay? I like to work in opposites, and so I offer to you, when you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to think the opposite is going to be calming down. So notice, over is above your head. You want to be down, okay? So how we do that, Labs Rocks, is we breathe down to the bottom of our lungs or our belly. Let's slow down how we exhale. Let's slow down how we're talking to ourselves and other people, okay? Let's quiet down what we're doing. Maybe my body's saying, what would make me feel good is to take another sip of water. Maybe you drink down some water. Maybe your shoulders are all up here and you're all tensed up. How about relaxing down your muscles? Okay? Maybe you put your hands in the air and literally just move that stress down below your heart and kind of out. Get your body involved. All right? Now, Elle, I see your question. I'll help with that too. Labs Rocks, this is how I knew that you, yes, were answering shower soaps, but the sentence you used before that was still, this is the word I would highlight because you used it twice. It's all out of control. Okay. All is a trigger word for overwhelm. All or nothing. We'll start with all the shower soaps. Instead, you're kind of willingly, but I offer to you feeling better physically and calming down your nervous system will make the next parts of the process, will make the decluttering easier. As I like to say, ignore those 2 steps at your peril. And you probably do organically. You're probably like overwhelming yourself and I got to get in there and I got to do it. And blah, 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 blah. Shh, let's do something different. And as Pam the dog lady says, repeating helps to reinforce. And yay. So we are right now, all of us can practice this at home. Where are we feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and how can we physically get out of overwhelm and into more of a neutral space where we can start doing what we are with intention? Crown on down, scan your physical body, calm down your nervous system, and then the other ones that work together kind of hand in hand is going to be chunk down. Notice we did bathroom, 3 topics, shower soaps, and then writing down. Okay, so let's start. So Labs Rocks, I hope as I did that, you have played along with the home version of the game and you have de-escalated your overwhelm, so you're feeling a little bit better. The next step is going to be, with all the shower soaps, this is the part of the process that is pretty much universal for everything. Notice I also used everything. Okay, I'm listening closely. Okay, so your shower soaps. This is where we have to kind of have a conversation with ourselves with the stuff that we have. So let me explain how those shower soaps got into your home, much like pretty much everybody here with everything that comes in the home. Okay, think about this just kind of very general process. You saw some shower soaps online, in the newspaper, in the store, that sparked a thought that said, hey, I might like that. That may be good for me. It may smell good. It might make me more emollient. It might make me more clean. I see that. That might make my life better. And so you brought it into your home. This is how pretty much most of the stuff, not all, but most of the stuff gets into our homes. So you saw that shower soap and you brought it into your house. The next step is you experiment with it. Does it work the way I hope it will? And what I want to offer to you is, and to everybody here, including myself, sometimes things work out the way you hope they will, and sometimes they won't. It is an experiment. You don't know until you actually go through the process whether you like that soap or not. That experimentation is what we do all the time with the things that we bring in. So you probably have kind of a lot of shower soaps that you brought in and you experimented with, and basically the experiment didn't work out the way you hoped. You did not get the result you wanted, but then you kept the item. Okay, you kept that. And as a personal and professional opinion, I'm not going to put words into your mind or mouth. You may have your reasons. What I am going to guess is that you had a thought of, well, it didn't work out for me, but I feel stress throwing it away because I spent good money on it, whatever the definition of good money is. I don't want to feel like I'm wasting something. I feel it's going to make me feel bad, like I made a bad decision. So notice, Labs Rocks, that you have things out to the store, into your house, into the shower. The stuff that worked in the shower is staying in the shower. You're using that. So yay for the things that worked out. The clutter, and this is for everybody, the clutter is the stuff that you have experimented with in your life that didn't work out. It didn't work out, and yet right there, when it didn't work out, there's a roadblock that's causing you to hang on to what's not working for you because there's a fear of something, the fear of letting go of something, even if it's not working out for you. So Labs Rock, does that sound familiar? Again, I spoke for quite a while there, and much of what I shared with you is based on my own personal experience, my experience coaching others, my experience listening to other people on a TikTok live or a YouTube live, that type of thing. So I offer to you, you don't need to share it in the comments, but everybody here, play along with the home game. If you have some one thing, even chunking it down even further, yeah, it's guilt. Guilt came up yesterday too. And I just keep buying more stuff. It's so embarrassing. So notice guilt and embarrassment over here are going to be things that have caused you to not get rid of what doesn't work for you. And you are still buying more stuff. Now, I don't see anything wrong with buying more stuff. So what I would get curious about, and just look at it very objectively. This is where I feel like I'm going to do either She Blinded Me with Science or like Flaming Lips. Was it Race for the Prize? You're a scientist, okay? You are getting curious. What didn't work out? What didn't work out with that one thing? Here's the thing, and get curious about what it is, because you may be saying that didn't moisturize me, so the next time I buy a shower soap, I am going to look for one that's more moisturizing, okay? But notice right now, we are dealing with kind of that collection of stuff, and this is what I want to offer to you, just as a general thing. I know it can feel stressful, because you've got to push and pull. Stress, tension, notice that's like, a piece of rope. There's tension in the rope because part of you is saying it doesn't work, let it go. And the other part of you is saying, yeah, you can't let go of that because something. And when you find out what your because is, and here's how you do that. Much like we calmed down and quieted down, we're going to quiet down the voice of guilt and embarrassment. Because when we do that, I call that my backseat driver voice, fear. When you go, shh, quiet down, then you can listen for what I call your co-pilot voice. Why do I feel guilty giving away, throwing away, letting go of something that didn't work for me? And this is where I would say to you, write the answer to that question down. You don't need to share it with anybody else. You can share it in the comments if you like, but this is a journey of self-discovery, as I say, and kind of gag at the life coachiness of it. But you know what? I'm a life coach. Why do I feel stress, weird, awkward, throwing away that thing of shampoo that I don't really love? I don't want to be seen as a wasting. I'm not a waster. It feels like I made a bad decision because it costs money. Okay, yeah, Virgie 66. Many of us, myself included, money is intertwined with our thoughts and feelings about clutter like nobody's business. I want you to think of it this way, okay? And this is where and I feel like I was almost like being the Pope right there. We've got a line down the middle, okay? And we've got on the one hand, we have the thoughts and feelings, the thoughts of guilt and shame and embarrassment and money that cause us to not feel good, and then we hang on to stuff. On the other side, Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, body of Christ, amen, all that. On the other hand, you've got the opposite. You've got no guilt. You've got no shame, no embarrassment, just curiosity, okay? So when you get into curiosity and looking at things from a more clear lens, okay? Notice that earlier I said when you get into fear mode, you're not seeing things clearly. And what I want to offer to you is this. If money is part of it, don't think of it as money wasted. Think of it as money invested in learning something about yourself. Everything costs money. So if you have a money conscious mindset, you may be thinking that it's wasteful, but here's the deal. You are not using that product. You possibly cannot return that product to the store to get your money back. So you are not saving any money. The money is back at the store. The money is gone. You're left with the product. You hanging on to the product doesn't get your money back. But what you can do is you can learn from what didn't work so that the next time you spend money, you spend it on something a little bit closer to what you want. The other thing too is now if you're feeling ready to let it go, maybe you're feeling awkward about, pouring it down the drain and recycling the plastic bottle. I would say before you do that, these are some things I would offer to feel better about releasing those items. So the two things that come to mind, and I know Kara puts them up the top. One would be, I would immediately see if where I purchased that thing, I can still return it if it was open. I know that when I used to shop at Target, one of the reasons I shopped there is because if I opened something and used it and didn't want it, they would accept it as a return. So it made me feel good that I could get my money back. If that's not the case, the other thing too is look around to places in your community where you can donate, what do you call them? Toiletries that have already been opened but not used. Some places do not take them. Some places do. So it can help you feel better that you're sharing your abundance with somebody. So notice where you get from shutting down and shame and not doing anything and just accumulating and letting it pile up to saying, I'm going to get curious what are some roads that I can take to let these things go? Okay? Does that help, Labs Rocks? I hope so. Yeah. Now, Simply for Kids says use it. Yeah, and I do that myself sometime. I have a thing of shampoo right now that I don't particularly love. It's not horrible, but I am like, I'm just going to use it up. It's fine. It's not what I want. Would I buy it again? No. And so you can use it, but also practice letting go of the stuff that doesn't work and notice that you will survive. Yeah. Yeah, and so notice it's gently used. So do some research. Where is there a place? Because I live in a place and I am blessed that we have such community resources that I have places around me that will take gently used and opened things. Okay, but notice what we're doing. We're getting into curiosity and problem solving, and that also calms down your nervous system. Yeah, and notice this, and I want to share with you Labs Rock. Thank you so much for sharing what was stressing you out and you were becoming overwhelmed by, because you sharing what you were has now helped somebody else. Okay? Carol says, oh my God, my daughter is coming over today to help me with this exact same problem. Thank you. Nat is saying that helps so much. Ghost, this is something it never even occurred to me, but they say, use it to clean the toilet. Yeah, use it to clean something, I love it. Laura Gibbon Voorhees. Notice where if you look for answers and you're not in stressed, I can't do anything, so I'm not even going to say anything because I'm ashamed and embarrassed. I'm not even going to share what I'm struggling with. When you get over that and come to the other side and are not so afraid to say, hey, I'm struggling with this, help is coming out of the woodwork. If you belong to a Free Stuff Facebook group community, Laura offers, you can offer them there. Yeah. Okay, so Carol says, I just threw out 2 sticks of deodorant this morning and now they are calling me from the garbage. Alrighty. Of course, Labs Rock. Because your concerns, you're not alone in this. Look at Carol is saying, you guys just imagine this, 2 like cartoony sticks of deodorant are in a garbage can. They're like, Carol, what are the words that those sticks of deodorant are telling you that are going to be so convincing that cause you to put your hand in your garbage can and dig them out? I'm usable still. Okay. Well, I will offer to you, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but this is where I draw the line. Again, we chunk down certain things into categories. I have no problem donating, let's say, shampoo, okay? But something that goes under my smelly, hairy armpits, I don't know if I want to share that. something that's on my lips, something that may be with germs in them, not so much. Now, again, what you might be able to do is you could kind of roll up the deodorant and then cut it off so the part that touched you, is not there anymore, so it seems a little bit cleaner for somebody else. But here's the reality of many of these situations is sometimes the trash is going to be the most acceptable answer, Yeah. Okay, so Ghost says, any deodorant with aluminum, you should toss it because it causes cancer. So you might be like, yeah, but you have aluminum in you and I don't want to cause cancer. Okay, oh, thanks. They stopped calling to me. So notice what we did. Notice what we did. We said some different words and we shut those little cartoony deodorants up. We quieted them down. All right? Now, I'm just backing up here a little bit. Now, Marietta is noticing today's not a declutter day because I have to go to the hospital procedure. Good luck with that. But planning for tomorrow. Yes, and tomorrow, speaking of tomorrow, declutter party weekend. I gave you guys a freaking weekend of declutter parties based on what you wanted. So declutter party tomorrow. I'm going to look up at the thing here. And for anybody checking the real time, it's 10:46 a.m. Eastern. Saturday, November 15th, noontime tomorrow until 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And Sunday, 10 to 11:30 Eastern. Declutter party. What does this mean? Instead of being like, I'm doing this alone. I'm the only person. No, you have people. It's going to be fun. But you need to be part of the Destination Decluttered group to be invited. And you get into that group by sharing your email with me. Okay. Oops. Now, I saw something earlier, but I think somebody redid it. Okay, here we go. Virgie66. I noticed you mentioned this a couple of times, and I want to make sure I address it. I donate as much as I can. Awesome. That's another problem. It sits in my house in different categories. Okay, so here's a funny thing. You're in the process. Okay, you're in the process. I categorize it too much, and it ends up in different bags or boxes around the house waiting to fill. Okay, and what I want to offer to you and to user 1963. Okay. And yeah, isn't it fun, Carol, to make it be cartoony? Okay. Still, Jill, nice to see you again. Yeah. And see, I like to have fun with this. And when you're laughing, laughter is power. When you're saying, I'm having fun with this, it's not so serious. Okay. It's just 2 sticks of, one for each armpit, right? And they didn't work out. Oh, well, lesson learned. This is a thing. And this to me, I don't know, Virgie66, what I'm hearing from you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm sensing is that kind of all or nothing. I want to wait until I have enough of a quantity of things to donate before I donate. That's why the stuff, even though you've categorized it and it's in different things anywhere, and it's starting to pile up in your house. What I highly recommend, Virgie66. So I'm going to be here on TikTok for another 11 minutes. And then right from there, we're going over to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel and doing the exact same thing right here. Is use this time to do something different than you're in the habit of. Get those different bags or boxes around the house and collect them up into bigger categories. And I don't care if there's only one sweater in that bag. I would practice completing the donation process. That is part of that process, is making the decision, and the next step is getting it out of your house. So do that next right step. The cool thing is, I know it's not just one sweater because you've said this stuff is piling up, so you've got piles. So notice again, what is the thought that keeps you from doing that next step? Because it's always going to be a thought, to me anyway, and kind of prove me wrong, a thought that is fear-based will keep you stopping. So if you notice that, and you look for the fear-based thought, you can find it, and then you can flip it on its backside and turn it into a more, just get curious about it. Okay? Yeah. So notice this. Yeah, and Labs Rocks, notice how moving slowly through a process, slowing down the way we think of something, gives you space in between to see each step of the process. The slowing down, the calming down. And notice when you're feeling calmer, downer, you're going to do better. Okay? So notice that. I love it. Carol says, you have also inspired me to display my vintage train cases. I love that. I think I also saw Judy saying, I'm signing up for tomorrow's party. Marietta says, oh, I may do a party. Yay, looking to declutter before I decorate for Christmas. And I think that is a wonderful idea. Alrighty. Now, Camille says, one of the tools in her toolkit is doing it together with her boyfriend. My boyfriend and I are decluttering the kitchen today. It makes it easy when we both do it together. Now, that is great that you know that. So one of the tools in your toolkit is, hey, let's do this together. It's less easy when I'm alone. It's easier when I'm together. Okay? So what's in your toolkit? Okay, Virgie is off to the donation center I go. Rock on. Thank you for being an inspiration to people. Okay, and notice what happened. Is that all or nothing thing? This isn't enough. I have to wait for it to get to a certain level before I go to the donation center. And this is where my sassy, loving, cracking me up co-pilot, aka me, would say, who says? Who says? I'm going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to go and donate just one sweater. Right? Play around with your backseat driver. Have fun. Just because they're like, that's not enough. Have fun with it. Okay? Have fun with it. There was something here too. Camille is saying for her, it works for her and her boyfriend to declutter together. Other people are wired where their dynamic with the person in the house is no. No, it actually is more contentious if we do it together, so I prefer to do it without you. But sometimes, and this is again an ADHD thing, the body doubling, the feeling of not alone, the ability to concentrate for an hour and a half or so to get some stuff done, knowing that other people are doing it at the same time, can increase your likelihood of wanting to do it. It's got an end date, and you've got an end time, and you've also got people doing it, hence the declutter party. Okay? Now, here's a great thing. The thought, the fear-based thought, the words in your head that cause you to feel fear are also part of the antidote. So Mari says, so I has the words in her head. I can't get rid of my papers because I fear I'm going to need them. And what if I need them and won't have them? The papers are big with a lot of us, okay? So what I want to offer to you is this. That being said, categorize your paper and ask yourself, again, chunking it down, getting out of fear and into curiosity and paring down what you decide to keep. When was the last time you needed that category of paper? When's the last time, and I want this helps, and I am a paper decluttering expert because I grew up with cluttered paper people, and I was one myself, and I am so much better at this than I used to be, okay? So I offer this to you. Chunk it down. There are some papers that I still keep. There are some other papers that I don't get paper-wise, but if I need to prove, because I want you to think of this, I save papers to prove something to somebody. I am saving this paper to prove this, again, I'm feeling like Mad Libs, to prove this to them. To prove to someone that I paid my Verizon bill. To prove to the tax people that I paid that bill and it's worth me deducting on my taxes. So get curious about the categories of paper you have been in the habit of collecting and keeping, and just ask yourself, when was the last time I ever had to go back to those papers that I saved to prove it to anybody? And the answer may be different for each category. But with each one of those where you're like, yeah, no, I have never had to use that explanation of benefits. This is what I did earlier this week. So therefore, I'm going to stop getting those in, and I'm going to get it so I only get those electronically, because it's a lot easier to delete an email or unsubscribe for an email, and I'm going to stop collecting them. Now, here's a funny thing. Devin, I'm going to lovingly poke holes in your thoughts. Because Devin is saying, my entire trunk is full of donations. Sounds like a fact. I'm not going to debate that. I only remember it exists when I need my trunk. You're here on a TikTok live right now. You have remembered it exists right now. So how about today you change that thought of I only think, oh, that's right, I got to put something in the car. Today, Devin, this weekend, Devin, could you do something different to get a different result than what you do, which is make a plan to do your donations today, this week, whenever. You can do something different. Now, I love it. Laura Gibbon Voorhees ping-ponged around her house, and she's feeling good about it. Because there's times when ping-ponging around can feel good to tidy up those little bits. There's other times, and I feel like it's like, the birds turn. There's a time to focus and a time to be, all over the place. One or the other may not serve you well, but playing around with it can be fun. There we go. Now, Camille says, having somebody to declutter with helps keep me focused. That's another reason we do these decluttering parties. And we've got some this weekend, okay? Is you may not have somebody in the house, or your person may not focus you. They may distract you. But notice what works for you, okay? So, haha. Now, Carol says, oh, my backstreet driver, F her. Yeah, you know what? Oftentimes we're mad at them at first, but then when you just picture your backseat driver as a scared little kid in a car seat, it may change how you think about them. Just want to offer that to you. All right? Now, yeah, organizing is rearranging. Decluttering is freedom. That is a good motto, but I will also offer you this. When you declutter, you get the freedom, but what I say, notice, organizing is rearranging. It's verb. Decluttering is, freedom isn't a verb. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. No, decluttering is decision making. That's what I say. Yeah, deciding what you want in your life and deciding what you don't want in your life and then doing something about it. I love that. Yeah. Now, there we go. Elle is offering a phrase that helps them. Letting go of things is not losing, it's choosing, right? Choosing, decisioning, deciding. Yeah. Still Jill says, and we were talking about paper, I used to get newspapers and magazine subscriptions. I don't anymore, it's inferred, and so glad I stopped them. Yeah. Think back at the time, because don't forget, our clutter is informed by the world we live in. Back in the day, the only way we could get the news, at least in my generations, was the newspaper or a TV show that happened from 6 to 6:30 at night, like or 11 o'clock at night. We live in a different time, so updating your habits to reflect that. Okay? Love it. Yeah. I love it. Cat Mama has used this time to gather this jewelry this hour to donate. Yeah. Aw, Carol. Yeah. Thank you for the scared little girl visual. You have changed my life today. Notice. Yay. Good stuff. Because, yeah, your backseat driver is you in the driver's seat. But you've got a scared voice in the backseat, but you've got a voice of love right next to you in the co-pilot voice. They're both parts of you. Treat them like you would on a road trip, okay? Now, speaking of road trips, I got to wrap this one up because I've got the Destination Decluttered YouTube is about to start. Okay, there we go, Carol. See, there was something there. So you use what you learned today and make good stuff happen to you, okay? I'm going to sign off TikTok right now. Remember, we've got some declutter parties this weekend, and right now I'm creating a live on, let me see if I can either, title required. What day is today? 11/14/2025. YouTube Live. YouTube Live. Close enough. All right, we're going to get that one started. And then if you want to just hop on over, maybe this was enough. Maybe this was all you needed and you said, yeah, I'm good. Now I'm going to go, as I like to say, kick the world's ass. If not, or if you just want some company in the background, tune into Destination Decluttered on YouTube, okay? There we go. I love it, you guys. Okay, we're going to start this. Go live. All right, here we go. I'm in two places at once. All right, that's there. I'm live there. See you guys later. Bye. Bye. I can't figure out how to shut it off. Too funny. Sorry, you guys. I know you're all kind of tuning in. I just hit the wrong button. There we go. It's live, people. It's live.